everyone. My name is Rick Yasayan, and I'm with the California Rare Fruit Growers of Orange County, and we're here for another presentation of Let's Find Out. Today we're going to meet with Tom Mortel, and he's going to show us how to sharpen our knives. Hello everyone. We're going to do something a little different today. I have with me my good friend Tom Mortel, who is going to show us something really important: how to take care of your knife, how to put a good edge on it, how to make sure it's sharp, and we're gonna go from there. So Tom, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you first got into this as a hobby.
Okay, I'm a member of the California Rare Fruit Growers, and I've always liked knives and carried one since I was 6 years old. And doing grafting for the rare fruit growers and your own hobby and home, I learned that you gotta have a sharp knife or you're simply breaking things or slamming into your arm and cutting yourself. So the thing is to get a nice sharp edge, and a knife blade is actually a wedge, and it goes very, very fine, and so this very, very fine edge can wedge right between a piece of wood and split it open. And by sharpening, you're grinding away all the extra metal so that you get, again, a nice narrow edge. It can get down to 1 micron wide. Wow. And that's what we're doing.
That's small.
Yes, it is.
So Tom, I've got a couple of knives with me. I've got my little pocket knife, which I carry with me at all times. And there's a little blade on there. Is that too small?
That would be all right. Do you have a bigger one?
I do.
For our demo?
I do, and I've also got one that requires a little bit different edge, and maybe you can explain about it. And this is a grafting knife.
Aha! Why don't we do that one?
All right.
And this is a grafting knife. And what's special about a grafting knife is that the edge is more like a chisel. It is ground on one side and then flat on the other. And what's good about that is this one is right-handed, since it's ground on the left-hand side. Gives you great control as you're slicing through a twig. And you can do cleft graft, you can do splice graft, any sort that you want to do with great control because of the wedge-shaped blade. And it's chisel shaped.
So does that mean if I was left-handed, that I could have that then ground?
You would
for the
prefer
other way?
Ground on this
on that side. Okay, all right.
So if I look at that, I can see the way the light reflects off the bevel of the edge, and it doesn't overhear very much, except it's kind of rough. All right, so here's what we'll do. And so we have a chisel ground, a grafting knife, and we're going to sharpen it on this stone, which isn't really a stone, it's actually diamond plate. And this came from Harbor Freight Tools, and was not expensive, made in China, but it's pretty durable. So again, look at your blade, see which side you want to grind away on, and then this is flat against the stone, and we raise it up until we find that we're at the same angle as we were before. Then we can just, at first we can just go back and forth. You're taking off metal. We might have to do this 100 times. This one's already sharp, so we don't have to. And eventually we start saying, oh, it's feeling sharp. And then we do one pass on the other side, just about flat. Now we've gone back and forth, and I can feel it feels sort of sharp. So you wipe the blade off, and now let's do a sort of standard test that I like to do for sharpness, and that is a piece of phone book paper. If you can slice phone book paper, you're sharp. And notice how nicely that cuts. So wow. We know that it's good enough for grafting.
Now, now let me ask a question here. Tom, you poured some liquid on the stone.
Yes,
what
indeed.
Have you got in there? It's more than just water.
Yes, it is. It's a cutting mixture that I studied on the internet, various cutting fluids for machining steel. And rather than paying money for good stuff, I made my own. It's got an oil, baby mineral oil would be good, or you can buy the mineral oil in the hardware store for a lot less.
Okay.
About 10% of that. and then about 10% of liquid soap, a hand soap or dishwashing liquid, and the rest 80% water. And you mix that together and you've got a very nice cutting fluid. And it lubricates the stone so that it cuts even better. And now we're going to the finest side we have here, which is 600.
Yeah, here, turn that around just a bit. Let's get that on camera.
Okay, we can see it on this end.
This side here, okay. And so that's 500 grit?
It's a 25 micron grit,
okay.
600 grit.
Okay.
So the micron is the tiny size,
right, and
600 is a standard mesh measurement.
Okay, and then it also has...
I have 4 sizes. This is the coarsest, 200, 300, 400, and then 600.
Okay.
So since we're sharp enough to cut paper now, let's go to the finest one and just work a little bit of what we call a micro bevel. By putting a tiny, tiny bevel on top of the edge bevel, it will be sturdier and it'll last through your whole day of pruning or grafting without getting blunted or bent over. Now again, we're working with chisels, so we go here. Now I'm going to raise this up and I'm just going to do maybe 3 very, very light passes this way and then cross the scratches by going this way 3 times. And then I am going to go into the edge almost flat, just up a few degrees like so, and I'm going to wipe my blade off before I try cutting paper. Now we're going to find it should cut very nicely. This is with the grain, goes down the page.
Wow.
Not much pressure to do that, and it worked very nicely. Let's try across the grain. It's actually not quite doing a push cut across the grain, but we can definitely slice across the grain without any trouble, like so. So that means we're sharp. We could do a couple of strops, not necessary, especially for grafting. This is more than sharp enough. After you've finished a graft on one tree, before you go to the next tree, be sure to sterilize your blade, because you don't want to spread disease from one plant to another. So here I have some disinfecting wipes, and pull one out, you wipe your blade off, be sure you get around the edge, and one more wipe just for good measure, like that.
So now you do
now
this,
your blade is clean.
You do this for each new tree?
Yes, each new tree.
Each new tree, okay.
And because if the tree had some disease, we don't care if we go to another branch and so on. We're not really spreading the disease because the transport system in the tree is already doing that. And now we're through. Be careful with your knives. If they're folding knives, close them up so you don't cut yourself. Thank you.
So we've had a great day today. We got to meet Tom Mortel. We now know how to shape and put a good edge on our blades. So I'd like to remind all of you, please, please, please like us or love us or share us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. It really helps us because it gets our message out to more people when you do that, and we really appreciate it. Thank you all.